This is Steffen Schmidt for InsiderIowa.com. I've been watching with great interest a sort of a civil war that's broken out inside the Republican Party. I actually call it an uncivil war because it has really pitted two groups in the Republican Party against each other. And it basically is all about who is going to run for Senate seats in 2014. 2014 is going to be a big year for the Republicans. There are a lot of Democratic seats that are up for re-election, and some of them are vulnerable. There are even some open seats. Senator Tom Harkin of Iowa just announced that he is not running for re-election, so that's a very good chance for the Republicans to try and pick up a seat. But the question is, who are the candidates going to be in the Republican Party who run in those states? Karl Rove, who is a famous or infamous Republican strategist and was very important in getting George Bush elected, has created a new group, the Conservative Victory Project, which is going to try and discourage candidates that they think are too extreme or too controversial from running. And they are using massive amounts of money that they have already squirreled away in super PACs to essentially support candidates that Karl Rove and his more moderate, I guess, Republican leaders in Washington think would be more electable. You can imagine that that doesn't sit very well with grassroots Republicans who don't really want Washington, D.C. establishment insiders in the Republican Party coming to their state and telling them who should be the candidate for the Senate. I know from a specific example that this is already triggering a tremendous amount of backlash, and that example is the case of Steve King, 4th Congressional District Congressman from Iowa. Steve King is a Tea Party Republican. He has very strong positions. He's very conservative. He has made a national reputation about being very strong on illegal immigration. He is conservative in every respect. He is pro-life. He is in favor of shrinking the federal budget. He came out recently against food stamps, or at least wants to greatly restrict who gets food stamps. And he has been very successful in Iowa in getting elected first to the 5th district, and then after 2010, when redistricting took place, in a new, much larger 4th district. He's a very passionate individual and connects very well with small-town, rural, conservative voters. Karl Rove and the Republicans have specifically pointed out Steve King as the kind of Republican that they are worried about running for the Senate. I can also report that the latest poll shows that Steve King right now is ahead of any other Republicans who would like to run in the primaries for the Iowa Senate seat vacated by Tom Harkin. And so there has now been a vigorous and I would almost say nasty pushback by candidates such as Steve King, who see themselves as the target of the Washington, D.C. East Coast millionaire establishment. And in fact, I got an email from Steve King this morning in which he says, please send me some money. I am being attacked by these people who are trying to tell Iowans how they should vote when it comes to the Senate. And it was an interesting piece of email because it proved to me that the Civil War in the Republican Party over the Senate seat in various states has already broken out full time. And I think it's something to watch because, of course, it's never good for a party when it's in a civil war and when the party itself is fighting amongst themselves rather than concentrating all of their firepower and money against their Democratic opponent. So keep an eye on that, and we'll probably do an update as we get closer to 2014. This is Steffen Schmidt for InsiderIowa.com.